innovative design consultant, Sewing Circle community member, and the Oxford Arts and Ecology Center, and director of their Water Institute. And without further ado.
Go ahead.
How you feeling about the pool?
Well, thankfully we got this space because I don't know how we would have done this event without. Unfortunately, the used bookstore went away. I mean, that's the bittersweet piece of this puzzle. Well, hi everybody. Well, for all of you who've had a chance to have a look around and get a sense of the caliber and the quality and the diversity of ideas here, hopefully you have a bit of sympathy for us jurors in trying to sort out the best, which is a really, really difficult challenge. And I think for myself, in looking at this as I come to this as a biologist and someone who's interested in human settlement patterns that are ecologically literate, then I lead with that phrase, we all love it, planning is best done in advance. And to the degree that when there's not a timeline, it's not a pressure cooker, and we know the general plan updates some years out, and the community can have a bit more of a relaxed opportunity to have a convivial and collaborative conversation about visioning and rethinking and tweaking, that the opportunity to bring in a lot of new ideas might be helpful and supportive to expanding the dialogue. And so I was mostly aimed at looking at that, and I think a sense as well that while the devil's in the details, the angel's in the pattern. And there's some really angelic patterns here. And so pulling back and blurring the eyes and looking for patterns of relationship to the laguna or the creek or to the flow and the traffic, to commerce, to livability and work, space, three-dimensionality and time, and that you all should be the ones judging it, the youth here, and where we'll be inheriting these designs or any aspect that's implemented. So I pulled back at that level, but then there was real rigor around a sense that the whole is greater than the sum of the designs. And what really came true is that there's each of these boards has a crystal of truth and a bit of a puzzle, and the assemblage and composition of the best of all these boards put into a mosaic that would have a collective and collaborative community consensus, if you will, over time, is what's going to make sense for you all. And so it was really fun to do this work, and I was really honored to be on the panel with all the other jurors and Lars and everybody for this forward. So thank you.
That was Lois Fisher. Lois, can you come forward? Lois is the president of Fisher Town Design in Santa Rosa. She was the key designer behind the relocation of the North Santa Rosa Smart Station to Cotting Town from Francis Avenue. And if you've been to the theater district in downtown Petaluma, you have seen the results of her work. Lois.
Thank you. I just want to tell you that the feeling that I had when I came in here first last night, look at all these boards. At that point, they were on the ground. And I just had this sense of awe. Because you're an urban designer, you're an architect, you're an artist. You have some idea of the hours of work that go first to thinking about these things, imagining these connections, and then drawing them up, and then putting them in a beautiful package, and then shipping them off to Sebastopol. So it felt last night that we were getting gifts from all around the world. People from all around the world have been thinking about Sebastopol. So it's almost like, can we be open and receive these gifts? And they actually even paid to do that. And so it was just very inspiring to be the recipient of these gifts in the first order. Things that I thought were just amazing were things like ways of increasing the downtown, putting more blocks in. Ways of increasing the sense of entrance. Wow, I'm now entering Sebastopol. I know it now because it was hard.
Talk up.
Another thing is the sense of place. How do we create a sense of place? And there's some beautiful ideas for doing that. So with that, I say just thankfully do the whole world for tonight.
So Sustainable Community Partners. He's the Planning Commission Chair for the City of Petaluma, a founding board member of the California Infill Builders Association Council, and is on the Urban Land Institute's Socially Responsible Investment Council. So he brought a great perspective more from a developer, sustainable developer side, which was great to have. So I'd like to thank Kurt for his participation, even though he's not here. Living in Drayton, he's best known for translating the forces of nature into works of art. He focuses on large-scale projects and permanent outdoor public art installations, and his work has been shown at the Cooper Hewitt in New York and the London Museum of Natural History. And his projects are here in our area in Santa Rosa, San Francisco, and worldwide. Next.
Kind of a trip for me. Like this whole room full of people. Like I'm kind of stunned that there's this much energy, and I was stunned at just the level of thoughtfulness that these people put into this competition, and from all over the world, things from Sweden and Argentina, and a bunch of student projects, and some of these people from the other side of the planet, and students from the other side of the country. Like, they come up with really thoughtful things that kind of really hit on some important things about this place, which blew my mind. Because I live here, I've been here for a dozen years, and when Lars first contacted me for this competition, I just thought, like, I wouldn't even know where to begin thinking about this. So the whole thing has been a great eye-opening and inspiring.
Thank you.
Associates based in the San Francisco Bay Area. He holds a Bachelor of Architecture from the Arizona State University and a Master's in Urban Design from Harvard University. He's a licensed architect and urban designer with more than 20 years' experience in urban design, mixed use and redevelopment, multifamily and affordable housing, public art and transportation planning, and in many ways really our local expert here for architecture and planning. We're very honored to have him.
When I walked in here after dinner, the room was empty when we left. And when I walked in and saw this whole group, my mind went blank. So I wrote my notes down on a little napkin. First of all, I really want to thank the committee, the core competition committee. Lars, Paul, and Carrie are the ones that I've been working with the most, and my fellow jurors, Ned, Lois, and everybody else, Rob and Kurt. It was an extremely interesting conversation. I think I could sit around with that group of people for hours and hours and talk about this kind of stuff and never get bored with it. It's very, very interesting. In all these 24 presentations are filled with ideas, and the ideas are both provocative and practical. Some are both provocative and practical. And the main issues that I drew out of this were, of course, the issue of sustainability, the issue of mobility. Surprisingly, I thought one of the most important aspects that was addressed by these plans were the issues of economics and social equity to a certain point. How Sebastopol will adapt to generations of the future who live here. How will they be different than us, and how will they continue to love Sebastopol? I think that was extremely interesting. And all of those things go together, I think, into Lois touched on it, the idea of placemaking. Kind of vision that the community needs, that these plans are quite strident in making proposals for placemaking in this area. And so I encourage you all to look at each and every one of these if you can and try to envision what it would be like to live in something that is proposed on all of these plans. I think it will be a mind-stretching experience to imagine that. One thing that I concluded from all this that I've lived here for about 15 years. I love Sebastopol. I've been on the planning commission, built a couple buildings here. And With all the beauty of Sebastopol, I think that some transformation of Sebastopol is needed. And more importantly than that, a vision for the transformation. And the vision really has to come first. So there's a whole bunch of pieces in all of these proposals that I think maybe in your mind you see one that's interesting, you see one that's terrible, the person next to you thinks the one that you thought was terrible is great, you see something that seems crazy and overreaching, and the next person says, that's too boring. But as a composite, I think there are just an amazing assortment of ideas that can be applied to the city, and I hope that this competition really launches a concerted and focused dialogue that includes everyone in town who's lived here for a year or for 50 years, and thinking about these guys down here, what will the world be like when they're the city council or they're standing up here and addressing us. That's going to take some imagination. And I thank you, Lars, and the whole committee for organizing this incredible amount of work to sponsor a competition like this and to get this effort going. So thanks a lot.
To participate, make sure you get on the mailing list that's up front. I think the kids were holding it as you came in the door. And we'll keep you informed. Don't know yet exactly what that's going to look like, but we know it's going to happen. Philip Corbin was mentioned as somebody who's come on board more recently, who has a great experience in activism and organizing, and he's going to really help lead us into the next phase. And we'll still be there, of course. So please go ahead and sign up, and we'll get in touch with you, and we'll figure out how we're going to move forward with this. But now, we'd like to present our awards. And we had, after much deliberation today with the jury, we came up with 4 main winners. There are, if you've noticed, there are sort of smaller awards posted at some of the boards, quite a few that we gave just for a specific topic or